Maddie Grace Jones reveals loss that took her and Jason Duggar back to Tennessee. Jason Duggar and his wife, Maddie Grace Jones, haven't been on social media much. Since their October wedding, there have been a few posts here and there, but they have seemingly faded into the background. The couple promised YouTube videos and more information about their lives and activities, though nothing has come to fruition. After criticizing their lack of delivery, Maddie attempted to address the issues, revealing why she and Jason had not been around much. Many followers assumed the couple would choose to live a more private life, as many of the Duggar men have chosen since Counting On was canceled. Jason wasn't a huge part of the TLC series, so it would make sense to keep things surface level, especially if Maddie wasn't comfortable being in the spotlight. Maddie Grace Jones reveals loss, intentional time spent with family. Jason Duggar shared a message written by Maddie Grace Jones on his Instagram story. She said she wanted to keep it real, explaining that their life has been moving at a crazy pace. They recently dealt with a family loss, which had them back to Tennessee. Maddie didn't elaborate on what happened, but admitted they spent intentional time with family. There was also mention of the couple working non-stop and traveling. No elaboration on that was given, though. Maddie Grace Jones teases working non-stop. The biggest question is what Maddie Grace Jones meant when she said she and Jason Duggar are working non-stop. Typically, the Duggar family members work for Jim Bob Duggar or attempt to run their own businesses as handymen. Of course, a few wanted to follow in Jim Bob's political footsteps, like Josh Duggar and Jedediah Duggar. There has been speculation that Maddie may be expecting her first child with her husband Jason. However, the couple has not confirmed that yet. Some comments they made indicated they may wait to have children, but given that most Duggar couples welcome their first child relatively fast after marriage, we aren't sure where they will fall. When the YouTube videos get uploaded and life slows down for Maddie and Jason, it will be interesting to see what they've been up to with traveling and working. Maddie didn't mention her family's loss in detail, but we expect that to be addressed when they slow down and take a minute to update everyone. Maddie Grace Jones took a deep breath before stepping onto the front porch of her childhood home in Tennessee. The weight of the past few weeks had been overwhelming, but this moment, this return, was something she knew she had to face. The news of the loss had struck like a bolt of lightning, unexpected and devastating. She and Jason Duggar had been settling into a comfortable rhythm of life, keeping their relationship relatively private as they navigated their future together. But the call that came one crisp February evening had changed everything. "Maddie, it's Grandma." Her father's voice had cracked over the phone. "She's gone." The world had seemed to tilt on its axis. Her grandmother had been the cornerstone of her family, a woman of unwavering faith and boundless love. She had been the one to teach Maddie how to make homemade biscuits from scratch, how to press wildflowers between the pages of a well-loved Bible, and how to find light even in the darkest of times. And now she was gone. Jason had been there when the call came, watching her crumble under the weight of the news. Without hesitation, he had wrapped her in his arms, letting her sob into his shoulder. "We'll go together," he had promised. "You don't have to do this alone." And so they had packed their bags, leaving Arkansas behind for the rolling hills of Tennessee, where memories lingered in the scent of pine trees and the hum of cicadas. As she stepped through the front door, the familiar warmth of home enveloped her, but the absence of her grandmother was palpable. Her parents were in the kitchen, her mother wiping away silent tears while her father stared into his coffee as if searching for words. Jason placed a comforting hand on her back, his presence steady and reassuring. "Is there anything I can do?" he asked softly. Her mother glanced up, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Just being here means everything." The days that followed were a blur of condolences, casseroles, and quiet moments spent reminiscing. Maddie found herself drifting through the house, each room holding echoes of her grandmother's laughter. She ran her fingers over the well-worn armchair where she had sat knitting on lazy Sunday afternoons, the kitchen table where she had told stories of her youth. One evening, unable to sleep, Maddie wandered outside to the porch where the rocking chairs swayed gently in the night breeze. Jason followed, wrapping a blanket around her shoulders. "She would have loved you," Maddie whispered. Jason smiled, his gaze thoughtful. "I would have loved to meet her." Maddie reached for his hand, squeezing it tightly. "Thank you for coming with me. I know this isn't easy." "You don't have to thank me," he said. "Family is everything. And if this is important to you, it's important to me." The funeral was a bittersweet celebration of a life well lived. Friends and family gathered, sharing stories that brought both laughter and tears. Jason stood by Maddie's side the entire time, holding her hand as she said her final goodbyes. As they prepared to leave Tennessee and head back to Arkansas, Maddie knew that something had changed, not just in her, but between her and Jason. Grief had a way of either pulling people apart or drawing them closer, and in this moment she felt a deep certainty that their bond had only strengthened. "Ready to go?" Jason asked as they loaded their bags into the car. Maddie glanced back at the house, at the memories it held, and then turned to Jason with a soft smile. "Yeah," she said, "I think I am." As they drove away, the sun setting over the Tennessee hills, Maddie felt a sense of peace. Loss had brought her back to where it all began, but love was carrying her forward. Maddie Grace Jones had always considered Tennessee home, even after setting out on a new chapter of life with Jason Duggar. The rolling hills, the scent of magnolia trees in bloom, and the quiet hum of cicadas at dusk were woven into her heart. But this time, their return to Tennessee was not for a joyful homecoming. It was for a heartbreaking farewell. The news had arrived like a sudden storm, unexpected and relentless. Maddie had just finished an afternoon walk with Jason when her phone rang. The voice on the other end trembled, each word landing like a weight on her chest. A dear family member, someone who had been a guiding light in her life, had passed away. For a long moment she stood frozen, the world around her blurring into white noise. Jason, ever attuned to her, placed a hand on her back, concern etched deep in his expression. "What is it, Maddie?" he asked softly. She turned to him, eyes brimming with unshed tears. "We have to go back." The next few hours passed in a whirlwind of hurried packing and quiet prayers. Maddie's thoughts were a tangle of memories, long summer days spent on a front porch swing, the laughter that had echoed through family gatherings, the warmth of an embrace that now belonged to the past. Jason had grown up with grief in his own way, experiencing loss within his own large and ever-growing family. He understood, perhaps better than most, the weight of saying goodbye. Without hesitation, he booked their tickets, held her hand and promised, "We'll get through this together."